So we're very excited to have you all. I just want to remind you of a few logistics. All members are supposed to continue keeping your camera on. We do know that sometimes we have bandwidth issues, and if that's the case, it's okay for you to turn your camera off, and sometimes we have to do that to help understand everyone. But if everything goes well, you members can keep their camera on and then just mute and unmute when it's time to speak. Andrea will be doing a roll call and so forth. So she'll be calling on each of you when you need to speak. So again, we're really excited to have you all join us. Excited about this kickoff meeting today. And I know on the agenda first we have Commissioner Glass and then also Greta, who will help kick us off. So I think that has our logistics. Andrea, can you think of anything else?
I think we're good. All right, so we'll go ahead and get going then. So as Joe was saying, we're really excited to have this group together. We're glad that you decided that you guys have accepted the role on this group. And we know that your schedules are super busy, especially, it seems more busy now, especially with the pandemic and things going on and trying to plan and replan. And we know that your time is valuable, so we want to respect that time, and we don't want to infringe any more than we do already. But we are glad that you guys have joined us with this. So as you may know, I'm Andrea Bartholomew. I'm the manager for school readiness, which is in the Division of IDEA Implementation in Preschool within the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. Lots of letters. We're the SRB and the DIP and the OSIL. So it's lots of acronyms in our world. We know that already. So as Joe said, we're going to start with doing a roll call. If you have your video on, please respond verbally, please, so we can get an accurate account of the link. Hey, Joe, I'm going to interrupt just for a second. Jennifer Ginn is looking for a link to this. She's chatted me. Can you get with her, Jennifer?
Yep, I'll make sure and send her the link.
I tried to send her one. She said it was just an audio link. So I did the wrong thing, obviously. Thank you. I appreciate you, Joe.
I'll try and assist with that.
Yes. And Jim Gaines as well is trying to get in. All right. Now that's all covered. So Whitney Fowler.
I'm here.
Jennifer Walrod.
Here.
Is it Walrod or how do you?
Walrod.
Walrod. Okay. Try to say that right. Walrod. All right. Got my country in there, my Walrod. Carla Malone. I see you down there, Carla. If you're not, you might be muted still if you're trying to talk.
It looks like she might be on a call.
Okay.
She said just a second.
Gotcha.
Looks like.
All right. Anna Shepard.
Present.
Mm-hmm. Barry Lee.
Present.
Whitney Stevenson.
Here.
Christy Lewis.
Present. Good morning.
Good morning. Miranda Reid. Miranda jumped on or not? Okay. And Monica Hevron.
You got it right. Thank you so much.
Tried.
I'm here.
It's good to see you.
Thanks.
All right. So all members except for Miranda are present, and maybe hopefully she'll be able to jump on with us soon.
And Andrea, I sent the link to Jim. Who was the other person you wanted me to send the link to?
Jennifer Ginn.
Yeah, Jennifer Ginn. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. So everyone except for Miranda looks like is present today, which is great for our kickoff. I'm really excited about it. Did I not say Carlena? Did I not say your name, Carlena? I didn't. You're not.
No, ma'am, but I am here.
You were right there. You've been there since the beginning. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
I must have copied and pasted and just cut you off there at the end. Can't cut off. Can't cut you off. All right. Carlena Sharon, thank you for joining us today. All right. Anybody else that I forget? No, we're good. Okay. All right. So at this time on our agenda, I'd like to welcome Commissioner Glass to provide us with a welcome. Dr. Glass, are you on?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, you're welcome. You're very welcome. I'm calling in, so I'm sorry that I won't be able to see you or otherwise, but I want to welcome everyone on this gorgeous snowy day. I'm not sure if it snowed all over the state, but it certainly snowed here in central Kentucky, and we're looking forward to getting out and playing with our kids in the snow some. And I hope kids from all over the state are. Our kids grew up in Colorado up to this point, so they're pretty used to snow, and they haven't quite figured out what a delight it is in Kentucky that we only get a substantial snow a couple of times a year. So they're trying to figure out where the sled hill is around. As we've just moved to this area, so they're on Zoom with their classmates and trying to figure out where that is around here. So that's going to be their project for today. But it's a delightful day for kids, and a delight to also be with you. I also want to join others in extending my appreciation and thanks for all the members that are part of this advisory. Early childhood education is incredibly important for all children, and it's even more important for kids that come from disadvantaged, historically underserved backgrounds, or kids who have disabilities. We know that they have more supports and needs, and early childhood is our greatest and best way to make that up as soon as we can, and make sure that the kids not just make things up, but that they have a wonderful and quality experiences as part of our preschool program. So I just wanted to come on and say thank you for being part of this, that we appreciate you and know that you have all sorts of other pressures and time pressures and things that you could be doing, but we're grateful to have you be part of this group. With that, I'll turn things back over and just again express my appreciation for you being part of this group.
Thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to meet with us, and we appreciate your vocal advocacy for early childhood education. We know you're a supporter. We appreciate that for sure. And I'm sure the snow is like a welcome home for you guys, and your kiddos haven't been in Colorado for so long.
Yeah, we'll get out in it today. Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you. We also have with us today the Associate Commissioner of OSIL, Greta Hilton. Greta has been a great advocate for preschool programming, and we are very blessed to be under her leadership. Greta, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I'll just say good morning, and I would echo Dr. Glass's sentiments. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to be part of this group. It's, as you know, it's our first ever preschool advisory group, which is really exciting. Preschool has been in, well, actually this office has existed with preschool coming over to join special education for, I guess, about 3 years now, which seems possible that much time has passed. Yeah. So that's crazy, but it's the last year's been a blur, as you know, for you guys as well as for us. But I do want to just say that I realize that days are long and hard, and they're even longer and harder during this pandemic. And, you know, hats off to you guys. I've shared this story with a few people, but I'll share it with you just so you can know that when I say I really appreciate you, you can know that it really comes from the heart, because as a special education teacher back in earlier days, I was a high school EBD teacher and left that setting to go to an elementary school in a neighboring county. And unbeknownst to me, I was going to be doing some contract work in the Head Start / preschool program at that time. And, you know, I had worked in a DJJ facility for adjudicated males. I had done EBD at the high school. So I thought, how bad could this be? Y'all, there's nothing in the world like preschool. Okay. So like the first few times that I was in that classroom, I thought, no. I mean, I could do DJJ, I could do EBD high school, but preschool is a world of its own, and it takes truly special individuals to really get in their groove and do what's best for kids and their families. And so I say thank you not only for being part of this committee, but for being the leaders that you are in the preschool community. And we hope to be able to look to you and engage with you to help advise us in the Office of Special Education Early Learning on unmet needs and questions that we have as we move through the course of this journey. So I'll stop there and turn it back over to Andrea, unless you have any questions for me, and just leave with a sincere thank you.
Thank you so much, Greta. Yeah, it is definitely a different world when they're tiny little kiddos. So we appreciate your support. We appreciate your encouragement within our program for sure. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today. We know that's not easy to find times. So the next thing on our agenda is member introductions. So we're going to give each of you a short time to introduce yourself. We'd like to know your district, what RTC you are representing that region, and a little bit about your history in preschool education. So I'm going to go through the roll again, and when I call your name, you can just unmute and give us a brief intro to you. So we'll start with Whitney Fowler.
Good morning. My name is Whitney Fowler. I'm from Harrison County, and I'm representing the Anderson RTC region. I am a lifelong resident, born and raised here in Harrison County, and unfortunately for us, we were the very first county in Kentucky that got hit with the COVID, and so we immediately had to jump into what are we going to do. We can talk about some of that later, but I have been in education since I was small. I've always had a passion for teaching. I was a Red Cross certified instructor all through high school, all through college. I still continue to provide private swimming lessons in the summertime. Probably have done over 700 children privately. So I've always had the passion for teaching. I went to college to be a speech therapist and graduated with a bachelor's degree in that, but decided that special education is really where I wanted to go. So I went to UK, received my master's in special education, and then went on to get my director of special education in 2013, took over the preschool program here in Harrison County. And so that's where we are today. And it does take a wonderful, talented, patient, compassionate person to be a preschool teacher. And I jump in and help when I can. And when I come out of there, I am hot, I'm sweating, and I'm like, how do you do this day in and day out? Because it is. I mean, it is a true challenge. But we have some great teachers here in Harrison County, and I look up to them, and I believe that they're paving the future for kindergarten through 12th grade teachers and what we're preparing for them.
Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you.
Yes, you definitely gave us examples how to deal with pandemic, being the first district to deal with it. Definitely a learning experience for everyone with that, but
Absolutely.
We appreciate your grace and your ability to share and with that process for sure.
Thank you.
All right, Jennifer.
I am Jennifer Waldrop, and I am the principal and preschool coordinator at Scott County. Let's see, representing the Anderson RTC. I have been in education for about 20 years now, and started out as a infant toddler through preschool teacher for a family literacy program called Even Start, and then directed that, and then taught preschool myself for several years before I became the principal, as when we brought all of our classrooms together, which has been a blessing. I think this past year has been quite the learning curve, and my teachers have really risen to the occasion and are still surprising me, and I'm impressed by them daily for what they've been able to learn and how they've been able to engage students even virtually. So look forward to being part of this group, and want to thank you all for having me here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for joining today, even though we may not be feeling the best. I appreciate that for sure. All right, Carla Malone.
Good morning. I apologize for being on the phone. We've got COVID quarantine and
the world does not stop. It's true.
It's crazy. My name is Carla Malone. I'm from Boyd County. I'm representing the Ashland RTC region. I've been in education probably about 25 years. I actually started out as an instructional assistant. I was a one-on-one with a child diagnosed with autism, and so went back and got my special education degree, and worked as the teacher. Boyd County has an autism program, And I was the elementary teacher for the autism program. Then became director of special education, and then the preschool. I have been the director of the preschool. This is my 6th year. I have a phenomenal staff. They roll with it. I enjoy it. I tell everybody you're a rock star when you go into a preschool classroom, because they love your hair, they love your shoes. They're just so. If you need to pick me up, you go in the classroom. So I'm really looking forward to serving on this, and I appreciate the opportunity. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carla. You didn't ride your Harley into work today, did you? In the snow?
No, but I'm counting down the days.
That's one of my favorite things at the leadership meetings in Ashland. I would go, and who is the other lady that rides with you?
Our education specialist, Jill.
Yes, y'all ride in on your Harleys. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is great. I want to hop on the back. It's true. I love it. All right. You guys stay safe out there. Our next friend is Anna Shepard.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anna Shepard. My district is Floyd County, and I am with the Ashland RTC. This is my 11th year of being the Chief Early Childhood Officer here in Floyd County. I spent 12 years in a kindergarten classroom. Then I went to the high school for 3 years as a curriculum coach. Then I went into the highly skilled educator program. Wow, that's been a long time since they had that program. But I was 3 years with the highly skilled educators program. And then, of course, my 11 years in this position. So here in Floyd County, I am the Head Start director, the preschool director. Some of our classrooms are blended, some are not. I lead middle school and high school academics for our county. And I also and work with all 11th graders and counselors with Governor Scholars. So I have a team of 42 other females in 16 classrooms and family advocates with Head Start. And I've just got a powerhouse team here. They are very impressive. And so it's great to be on this advisory council with everyone. And I look forward to getting to know everyone better.
Yes, we're glad you've joined us, Anna. You've been a rock of the eastern part of the state for a very long time, and so we're very grateful that you're here with us.
Yeah, I wanted to tell the commissioner that maybe he needs to take a visit back to Hazard or back to Eastern Kentucky and bring his kids. We've got all kinds of mountains.
That's to find some real sledding hills, right?
Yes.
To find some real hills. Yes, that's the truth. All right, thank you, Anna. Barry Lee, you're up next.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be a part of the team. My name's Barry Lee. I'm from Casey County. I'm finishing my 19th year in education. I've served as a special education teacher, a high school principal, and now as director of special education, preschool 504, and social studies content for our district, and also adjunct professor at EKU and Campbellsville University in their education programs. So I really enjoy the whole world of education. I've had the great opportunity to serve on a lot of state groups, advisory groups, and it's just always interesting to see and learn from different parts of the state and hopefully guide us to make our jobs easier but more effective. So glad to be a part of the team. And I'm representing the Berea RTC.
Thanks, Barry. We're excited to have you on our team with us. You are the lone male, which is not unusual in the preschool world. We know this.
It's not.
Not there. I tell Barry I have an affinity for Casey County. I grew up in the corner of Casey, Marion, and Boyle. I lived in Boyle, so that little corner where the three converge is where my house is set. So I have an affinity for that part of the state for sure. It's beautiful back there. Not some big mountains Anna's got, but there's some knobs back there that you can have some fine sledding hills on. That's for sure. All right, Whitney Stevenson.
Hello, I'm Whitney Stevenson, and I'm with Fayette County Schools. I'm the Associate Director of Early Childhood, and I'm representing the Berea RTC, as well as Barry. And for me, I think this is my 19th year in education. I'm actually, when I graduated from UK with my bachelor's, I was one of the first to come out with an IECE certification. So that was an experience, and I hold that as something very special for me as I've come through my education and worked with teachers. After I finished school, I taught in state-funded preschool here in Fayette County. Eventually, after about 6 years, I came out of the classroom and was a district support person for the preschool classroom. Then I left that position to go back to school to get my doctorate. So after 2 years, I came back to Fayette County in a position known as the Early Childhood Gap Intervention Specialist. And then I was in that for a year or so. And then Mona Baker, our previous coordinator, she retired, and I became the interim preschool coordinator, and then came on to be the associate director of early childhood. I think I've been in this role, I think it's 8 years now, 7 or 8 years now. And while I started my doctorate many years ago, I just recently finished it a couple of years ago. So it was a long stretch. But my dissertation work and everything is around early childhood special ed, and my dissertation actually was on school readiness. It's been the whole career has been woven in definitely with special education and early childhood.
We're excited to have you, Whitney. I know that your time is precious, and so it's great that you could join us with this, and look forward to using those things that you wrote in your dissertation, perhaps to help us along the way a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you.
Christy Lewis.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Christy Lewis. I represent the Callaway RTC, and I am the Head Start Preschool Coordinator for Paducah Head Start Preschool. We have one building here in Paducah, and we serve 280 preschoolers in our building. We're excited. We were just awarded a $14 million grant through Head Start, so we'll be building a new building soon. And I really look forward to being a part of this and seeing how we can, just continue to move everything forward in Kentucky for early childhood, because early childhood is so important. We're talking about the pandemic earlier, and unfortunately, Paducah has lost 2 of our awesome staff members to COVID this year. And so we have a little hole in our heart right now, and it's definitely broken, but we are doing a lot of great things for children and families. And we've got 8 fantastic teachers here in Paducah. We've got 5 this year who are dedicated solely to virtual learning. And then we've got 6 family advocates and 2 social workers, and a partridge in a pear tree, I guess. So it's a lot of fun over here in Paducah. The West is wonderful. And I love being able to connect with directors and experts across the state, because it only makes us better. So I'm looking forward to it. And Andrea, thank you for leading this charge. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Christy. We always can count on you to jump in with a positive word about early childhood anywhere you go. That's for sure. You're very vocal about that. We appreciate that from you, and we do wish you and your staff well as you continue to grieve your friends and your family. So this has hit us all really hard, and it's definitely tough. So we wish you well. Miranda, did you join on? I thought I saw your name pop up.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I had a phone call when you were starting. I apologize.
Again, the world does not stop. No worries.
So I'm Miranda Reid, and I am completing my 13th year in education right now. 7 years I started in a high school in a mod severe self-contained classroom. I moved from there and served 4 years as a special ed consultant for Graves County schools. And then this past year, I just took a job at Mayfield Independent Schools as the director of special ed and preschool. And I'm not going to even try to fake it till I make it. I just want to be honest that I'm here to hopefully be a sponge and learn, because I feel like special ed is more my forte. And when preschool was under this, I felt like, oh my goodness, and so I have really been learning a great deal in this first year. And of course, in the middle of what a way to start in the middle of a global pandemic. But so I'm here, I hope to just become better with all of you experts.
Oh, if you can handle this, then you can probably handle anything. So there's that. You'll find a lot of correlation between preschool and special education. There's a lot of overlap there. And so we're glad to have you in that special education brain as well with us, for sure. All right, Monica.
Land's End. I feel like I should just say, I'm just Monica. I'm humbled and honored to be a part of this group, because everybody seems so knowledgeable, and that's great. I'm kind of like Miranda. I'm excited to learn more and just see how other places do it, because I think, we're a rural community. And so I think sometimes that we do things like we do them. And so it's so nice to see what other people are doing across the state. So I'm Monica Hevron, and I'm from Grayson County Schools. I am the Director of Special Education and Preschool Programming, 504 Coordinator, and anything else that needs to get done, and I'm glad to do it. We're part of the Simpson County RTC, and they are such a support to our preschool teachers, and I don't know what we would do without them. We've been getting boxes and boxes of stuff. And so it's just, they keep applying for these grants and getting these units together. And so, feel really blessed with that. I was in the classroom for 10 years. This is my 9th year as the Director of Special Ed, Preschool Director. And what I found is, coming from that preschool or from the special ed angle, how enlightening the preschool part is, but you see how important it is to have good people with those little ones and good things to support them as they grow and help the families. Because really, as a special ed director too, you've got them for a long time, and they're part of your life. And there's even kids now within my 9th year, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I remember them when they were in preschool, and they've got those awkward teeth and gaps and stuff, and you're like, wow, But anyway, I guess if anything to remember, I am just proud of my job here is the advocate for our families and our kids, because I really feel like that is the core of what we need to be. And I want our kids to have the best possible programming and things. And mainly I want them to have people in that classroom that know what they're doing and love them. And so we're really blessed, because I feel like I've got a great team here. So that's all.
Awesome. Yes. And the Simpson RTC does a great job of keeping their districts involved. So I'm glad that you are feeling that too, for sure. And don't sell yourself short. You have a lot to bring to the table, friend.
And Andrea, this is Whitney Stevenson. Can I just jump in and tell Monica, I'm actually originally from Breckenridge County.
Oh, okay.
So I'm very familiar with the Grayson County area and stuff. So I just wanted to make that connection with you. Yeah.
So we can be friends now. I love it.
Homegrown friends. I like this already. This is good. All right, Carlena, since I forgot you're last but not least.
All right. I'm Carlena Sharon. I am the Director of Early Childhood Education for Hardin County Schools, and I represent the Simpson County RTC. In my career, I started out as a primary teacher and moved to a literacy resource position at some point, and a gifted and talented teacher, assistant principal, and principal. I actually, for those of you that know Nanette Johnston, I student taught with Nanette Johnston, and then she became our superintendent at one point, and I became the Director of Early Childhood. So we have only really had 2 people in this role, and her shoes are big, big, big shoes to fill. When I took her classroom position at Vine Grove Elementary, I can remember my principal said, don't try to fill her shoes, because you're not going to be able to. And he meant it in a nice way, because then he said, get your own shoes, put your own shoes on, and do it your way. So I did the exact same thing when I came into this role. While I have not taught preschool, I will say I've worked a lot in kindergarten, but I think, and I think Nanette would say the same thing, my passion for preschool has certainly developed, because I understand that if we truly want to make a difference, a long-term difference, then we have to start in preschool. So I spend my time in the district really working with principals to help them realize that you have to have your rock stars in preschool, kindergarten, and 1st grade, because that's going to make everything else work better. So I'm also a member of the Instructional Services Department. So I work very closely with 4 elementary schools, and probably my focus has been a lot with literacy. We are working with Orton Gillingham in literacy, and I have kind of become the go-to person out of instructional services for literacy. So I'm excited to be here, because I love nothing more than listening to people talk about what they're doing, because that's how we all kind of tweak our programs and make our programs better. And I truly believe preschool makes a difference.
For sure.
Well,
We're excited to have you with us. So just real quickly, so you all can know my angle, where I come from. This is finishing up my 14th year in education. The first 10, 11 I spent in Clark County as a preschool teacher, an interventionist, a resource teacher, a special education facilitator. I'm doing lots of things. My first degree from Eastern is in deaf and hard of hearing education. So my first job was, I wanted to be a preschool teacher at Kentucky School for the Deaf, but they did not have a position available. So I was like, I'll go back and do IEC. So I did that and found my true love there, and have been advocating for littles ever since. And I feel very blessed and thankful for the team that we've built at the Department of Education. We're building a team of educators. Everyone on our team has been in the classroom. They've been in the floor. They've been covered in children. And that experience to me is vital when you're talking to other educators, to other teachers out in the field. I've been there. I've walked your shoes. I've made those tough decisions. I know how hard it is. And so I think that's really important to build a team around school readiness in that way. So we have built that pretty much from the ground up after the reorganization. Me and Bill Buchanan were kind of all that was left. And so we kind of built us up and we're moving forward. And this group is part of that. Having this group to me signifies the importance of early childhood education in Kentucky. We've always known it's important, and my leadership has always known it's important, but now this is almost a bigger stage. This is a place where we can say, yeah, Kentucky cares about their preschoolers. They care about the youngest learners, the youngest students in the Commonwealth. We really do. So we're excited to be together and to work together to move outcomes for kiddos forward, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Getting our kiddos ready, moving them on, and keeping them moving forward. That's our goals. So now that we have this great team assembled, we need to pick some officials. So we're going to have a chair and a co-chair and a secretary note taker. So the chair and the co-chair will work with me to develop agendas, to work on action items that maybe come out of these meetings, to touch base with everyone. Will work with us to kind of promote the work of the group, and will help facilitate the meeting. So they'll do the roll call, they'll do some of the other parts of the meeting every time. So does anyone want to volunteer to be co-chair? We'll start with co-chair. Volunteers.
Andrea, this is Christy. I'd be happy to be a co-chair, but definitely not chair.
You're like, I'm the co, not the C. Okay, I got you. All right. Would anyone want to volunteer to be chair with Christy and work together with Christy?
I will. Whitney Stevenson.
Okay. Any objections to that, folks? Are we good? All right. So we'll have Whitney Stevenson be our chair and Christy Lewis be our co-chair. Wonderful. All right. Now our secretary note taker. Of course, this is the job I decline. I'm not a note taker. I take terrible notes. I never did in college. It was horrible. So the note taker will take the notes during the meeting. Will be responsible for putting them into the Google Drive that Joe will give us access to at the end of the meeting. We'll have a Google Drive where everything will go. That person will be responsible for that. Any great note takers out there? I'm not it.
I'm glad to do it because I don't have ADHD diagnosed, but it really helps me focus. So if I'm typing up whatever,
I'm the opposite.
On,
I have the ADD. I'm completely the opposite. Like I get distracted. I'm like, oh, squirrel.
Unless somebody else wants to do it, I will be a great participant without it, but I'll be even better with it.
Any objections to Monica?
No, and that's awesome because that's something that I am not good at. My staff here say, "Oh my, we can barely read even what you're trying to do."
Yes.
So, yeah. So thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Monica.
Job for sure.
Yes. We when we were in the office, we would have almost weekly meetings with me and one of my teammates who was an implementation specialist, and so she would be like, "All right, I'm going to organize your brain." So I would just start talking. And then she would write it all down and make it beautiful. And here it would come out. It was great. So that's what Monica can do for us. She can make our craziness beautiful. All right. So that was easy. So we have Christy Lewis as co-chair, Whitney Stevenson as chair, and Monica Heverin as secretary. All right. Good deal. And any time that we have an absence or we have an issue with that, I would step in as a substitute until we can. I always had a substitute in my classroom helpers. So I'll be the substitute to jump in if someone is absent. All right, so now that we've got the officials elected, let's go ahead and discuss some norms. So I'm going to share my screen here in just a minute and do a little document just so we can collect some norms, and then I'll send those to you, Monica, and you can organize them in a way that makes sense to you. One that I would like to use is the raise your hand feature when we're having discussions in teams. I'm terrible. I just blurt things out. I just jump in all the time, and I'm really bad about using it. So I'm hoping this group will help me get better at using it. So I have to raise my hand if I want to speak. It makes your yellow, makes your little yellow circle appear, so you'll be able to call on you. That's one that I would like to put down. So I'm going to go ahead and get a document open so I can share my screen. So what norms do you guys think we should have for our group? Let's get some co-creation happening here. All right.
I would say just honoring each other's time by trying our best to stay on topic and not get distracted.
Raise your hand feature, and then honoring time. Try not to limit distractions, interruptions. And we do know how difficult this is to find time, to carve out time in your busy school schedules. I mean, it's tough just to dedicate 2 hours to something. But if we can do that, we can make our time run more smoothly. Okay.
This is Carlena, and I would say be ready and prepared. You know, like if our co-chair or chairperson send out what the topics are going to be ready to share your views, share your thoughts.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you might want to put on there?
Andrea, this is Christy. One of the norms we've used in the past in team meetings is just generosity of spirit, meaning, respecting respecting different opinions, not knowing what that's going to look like. We all come from different parts of the state, and different things work in different areas. So there's not always a one size fits all. So just recognizing we all have unique experiences to come together to make things better.
I like that one. One that I might add is in relation to that would be to understand that this is a judgment-free zone. This is a place where you can ask questions, you can ask the hard questions, the weird questions, the awkward questions, that we can move ourselves forward. This is not a place to necessarily hold back opinions. We want to make sure everyone's able to put out what they want to get back in. So I would put that kind of under this generosity of spirit. This is a place where we can be honest with each other. Okay, and then going back up here to the raise your hand feature, also I want to put under here is to mute your mic when you're not speaking. Eliminate background noise. All right. Anybody else? I can't see the team screen. I can just see my document. So is there anything else that you guys want to add to this?
I think that looks good.
All right. And this is a living document. So if we want to go back to it, we can. And we can add and adjust as needed as the group moves forward. If we come back next time and something goes crazy, we can always add a norm. But I like those. The technology ones, raising your hand, muting your mic, and then honoring time. I think that's really important. Being prepared and then having that generosity of spirit. Okay, good deal. So Monica, I will send these to you, and you can put them in a form that looks prettier than a bulleted chart, and we can add them to the Google Drive. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Stop sharing my screen. And let's see. So now we have our norms. One responsibility of the chair will be to review those norms at the beginning of every meeting. So like I said, Monica will have access to the Google Drive. She'll dump them in there, and you'll have them, Whitney, when you begin the meetings each time after the roll call. We can go over our norms together. All right. So now I'm going to turn our meeting over to Joe Mccowan. He's part of our OSIL family. He's going to help us facilitate these meetings and has been an immeasurable help to me for sure. He'll be helping to lead our discussion of our group's priorities. Oh, Joe?
All right, thank you, Andrea. And before we talk about the schedule and priorities, I just wanted to just revisit our OSIL staff a little bit so you can put a face with a name. And so, of course, you were able to see Greta Hilton, our Associate Commissioner. I really appreciate her being with us today. I'd also like to introduce our directors and some of our other staff and just give them an opportunity to turn their camera on and say anything if they would like to say a little bit about the work that they do. And so we'll just start with Thomas Williams. He is our policy advisor at the office level. And so, Thomas, would you like to say anything?
I would. So good morning, everyone. And I would like to say that I'm very excited to be among this group in this community. I also have a very, very extensive background in early childhood education. And just to be really brief, I've been in education for over 18 years. And my entire career has been driven and I'm geared towards children in early childhood. I've sat in the seat of a early childhood teacher, an early childhood instructional coach, an early childhood director, and also I sat in the seat of a supervisor of early childhood lab schools and a preschool principal. So I've sat in the seat in many roles in regards to early childhood education. So I currently serve as the policy advisor for the office, across the office, and I look forward to getting to know you. I look forward to learning with you and also contributing. So again, thank you. I am very happy that this group has come together, and I look forward and welcome. And I look forward to learning with you. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Thomas. We do have 3 divisions in our Office of Special Education and Early Learning. We have the Division of IDA Implementation and Preschool. We have our Division of IDA Monitoring and Results, and we also have our Division of State Schools. So I want to make sure and introduce the directors, give them an opportunity to speak, and we'll start with Veronica, who is the Division Director for IDEA Implementation and Preschool.
Good morning, everyone. And I know this has been said multiple times, but I am so excited about this group. The School Readiness Branch lives in my division, and as I hope most of you have had a very positive experience with the staff. They are amazing. And, you know, as some of you, I have a special education background. And when preschool moved into our division, I had some personal experience as a special education teacher. I would transition preschool students to kindergarten. I worked in a K-6 school in Perry County. So I had that experience, and then just some personal experience with my twins who had been in First Steps prior to me becoming a special education teacher. So I knew the importance of early intervention, both personally and professionally, and had great respect for preschool, but did not have the experience of actually teaching. So it was a major learning curve, and the staff supported me, and I'm growing every day and appreciate their help and support. But we are just super excited to have the opportunity to bring you all together, to share ideas, to listen to your needs, to help you guide us in decisions as we develop guidance, as we develop support across the state. So I can't stress enough how thankful I am that you've taken the time to serve.
Joe, you're muted.
Thank you, Veronica. Appreciate that. And Amanda Waldrop is the Assistant Director for the Division of IDA Implementation and Preschool. Amanda, would you like to say anything?
Sure. Good morning. My name is Amanda Waldrop, as Joe said, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Division of IDEA Implementation and Preschool. And we really just appreciate you all being part of the team. I actually have a kiddo that's a preschooler, so I truly, truly respect the work that you do. You actually might hear in the background from time to time because she has a snow day today. So just thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to serve, and we really do appreciate the support. So thank you all again.
Thanks, Amanda.
We love hearing Adeline's voice when we have meetings with Amanda. It's so cute.
Yeah, she heard me mention her, so of course she had to say something. So yeah, she's excited. So thank you all.
Thanks, Amanda. And Stephanie Ernst works in that division as well. Stephanie, would you like to add any context?
Thanks, Joe. Good morning, guys. It's Stephanie. I've had the pleasure of meeting and working with most of you on this call, actually through our preschool work that we have. Really excited to see you all on here. We've got some of our best folks in early childhood here with us, and I can't wait to see the work that this group does. So just welcome, and I'm excited to see where this leads us. And thanks for having me.
Thanks, Stephanie. Our director for the Division of IDEA Monitoring and Results is Sylvia Starkey. Sylvia?
Hi, good morning. My name is Sylvia Starkey, and I'm the director of the Division of IDEA Monitoring and Results. In our division, we talk a lot about IEP implementation. We could be a great resource for you if you have questions about IEP development or any of your compliance questions. We are always there to, help you and talk you through those questions for preschool students. I was a special education teacher before I came here, but before that, I actually taught kindergarten for about 7 years. So I'm very familiar with the preschool to kindergarten transition. I taught that as a general education teacher. And then before all of my formal education, I actually was an assistant in a Head Start classroom before that for several years. So I have a little bit of a familiarity with some of the Head Start programs and the pieces of that as well. We're real excited to have you. And, if you ever have anything, please feel free to, contact me. We're happy to help in any way that we can and support you guys.
Thanks a lot, Sylvia. Our director for the Division of State Schools is Carol Ann Morrison. Carol Ann?
Good morning. As Joe said, I'm the director for the state schools, and so we have Kentucky School for the Blind and Kentucky School for the Deaf. And so we would be happy to partner with you or assist you if you ever have questions that come up for your preschool students in either of those areas. Feel free to reach out to us, and state schools would be happy to help you.
Thanks, Carol Ann. Malika Williams is with us, but I notice it says on hold near her name. But Malika, are you able to speak or hear us? And if not, that's okay. I want to be sure and give everybody an opportunity to speak. Tracy Goff Herman is with us, and she has been our policy advisor in the past, and she has went to the agency level and done similar work, and then transitioning back with us. We're always super happy to have Tracy with us to really assist with policy and legislation, and she has a great historical knowledge with KDE. So I want to give Tracy an opportunity if she would like to say anything. And Tracy, if you can hear us, you might be on mute, or maybe not. Jennifer Riley, would you like to pop in there and say anything? There's Jennifer. Jennifer, you're on mute. Sorry.
Sorry, I do that all the time. Good morning, everyone. I am Jen Riley. I have just finished my 17.5 year in early childhood education, special education. Prior to coming to KDE last year, I was a preschool teacher in Laurel County, and prior to formal education, I was also a preschool assistant in Laurel County. So I've spent my whole career dedicated to preschool children, and I look forward to working with you guys on this. I'm very, very excited to have the opportunity to be part of it.
Thanks, Jennifer. And one other person I know is on here who really helps me coordinate the video and the technology with the meetings is Rebecca Atkins Stumbo. So I want to make sure and recognize Becca. She always helps us coordinate with Andy and Megan to get videos posted. It's a very important part of our meetings, and she helps with all of our advisory groups. So Becca, do you want to say hello?
Hi, yes, good morning. I see lots of familiar names and faces out there. I'm so excited to be a part of this group, so thank you for including me. I've been at the department now, I believe, for 15 years, and I can't believe it. Before that, I was in the classroom. I taught first grade for 7 years in Anderson County. And my role at the department has kind of evolved over the years. I've gone more into the communication side of things. So if there's ever anything I can do kind of akin to what Joe was describing, please let me know. And again, thank you so much for including me in this group. This will be my favorite advisory group for sure.
Thanks, Becca. Yeah, that made me think about how when both of us first started at KDE, we were closely linked to the primary program in early childhood work. So that's a part of our historical context. So we really enjoy this advisory group. Thanks, Becca. Is there anybody else from OSEAL that I missed that wants to speak? Please feel free, and I'm sorry if I missed you.
I'll call out Tasha. She's the other member of our branch that's on here.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Tasha.
Are you there, Tasha? I saw your name. You might be on mute.
All right, Andrea. So we'll go ahead and move on. And again, I'm Joe Mccowan, and I'm at the office level, and I help coordinate communications, also help facilitate our advisory groups to assist leads on that work, and then also team up with Amy Patterson on data and reporting for special education. And my background, I taught elementary level for 7 years in Anderson County, and I've been at the department now for about 18 years. So in a variety of roles there. And so definitely enjoy working in OSEAL. It's a great group of folks. And so I appreciate you allowing us to introduce some folks and put names to faces and allowing them to introduce them. And all of these folks are super helpful. And so please, beyond Andrea and this facilitating this group, feel free to reach out to any of us on that. So Andrea, now we're going to work on trying to pinpoint a schedule of meetings and then also our priorities for our meetings. And so I'm going to share my screen and you'll be able to see some work that Andrea and I have done together to help prepare for the discussion today. I know it's very difficult in a virtual setting to set priorities. The way this usually works is each member will identify some certain topics and they'll write those on Post-it notes, and then we'll put those on the wall and see which patterns and trends show up most, and then really try to have a discussion about how we see our topics aligning for our meetings coming up. So we're going to do the best that we can in this virtual environment. So we've just put some notes here for you. This advisory group will meet quarterly, and of course you see our first meeting there, our winter meeting as our kickoff. We'll have a spring, summer, and fall meeting, and we have aligned it similar to the calendar of this month, the last Thursday of the month, leaving 2 months in between. So we'll meet January, April, July, and October. And keep in mind, these are virtual meetings that we just want to get on the calendar. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to face-to-face sooner than later. And so Andrea and I will work to modify the calendar. We also put a note that we know there are preschool conferences and events, especially in the summer, that we would like to align with. And so for that summer meeting in July, we may adjust that if we're face-to-face to try to align with some of the conferences and events that you have. But we want to get these dates on the calendar. And then we're going to try to align our priorities to the meetings that are coming up. So first off, I just want to put out there the proposed dates that we have. and let you all look at those and think about that. And do you have any issues or feedback or concerns about the dates that we've identified?
July 29th just happens to be our district special education professional development. Just putting it out there, but that's only for me.
All right. We can try to shift dates, so we can try and go maybe for that Wednesday. Any other feedback on specific concerns or areas? And again, these are just to get the dates on the calendar for a place to start, and then we can make adjustments. Andrea and I will continue to coordinate. So anybody else have anything?
Joe, the 29th is Kentucky Association of School Administrators. I'm not sure from that standpoint with KDE and the membership.
On April 29th?
Or July 29th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even more reason to change that one to the 28th. Thanks for that, Barry. I have to brag on Barry a little bit too. Don't let him fool you. He's an experienced advisory group member. He was chair of the State Advisory Council for Exceptional Children. And so he knows well our advisory group process and priority setting and all of that. So Barry, I definitely look to you for some experience there.
Thanks, Joe.
Any other concerns about the calendar before we talk about priorities? And again, just please let us know. Andrea and I we're flexible on that, and we are going to try to set these meetings for 2 hours, 3 hours tops, because virtually that's a long time. And so once we get back to face, we'll make some further adjustments. So I appreciate your feedback on the calendar. Now our advisory group priorities, Andrea and I came up with 3 broad categories, and we want you all to add to this list if you feel like we've left anything out or you would like to add an area of focus. But we feel like there are 3 broad categories we can start with for our priority work, and that is looking at data quality and really thinking about all of the data elements that are required for the preschool program. And that last bullet there is focusing on PBIS and behavior, but we do know that preschool staff are using Infinite Campus now, and so they're being required to enter attendance data and also now behavior data. And so we feel like data quality is a big one. We feel like quality programming, when we think about the rating scale and others for preschool and early childhood, we need to ensure that we have ways to monitor and ways to look at and ways to provide improvement for quality programming. And then that last bullet, since academies are getting ready to kick off too, related to behavior and PBIS, we really want to focus on that positive behavior. So those are just 3 areas we thought of, and I want to open it up now and allow you to give me some additional topics, and I'll add them to the list. What do you think?
One thing that comes to my mind right off the bat might be just working on a pre-K to 3rd grade alignment. And that might fall with, quality programming as well. And that,
let's put that with
that
quality
could be,
programming.
Yeah, with everything, like aligning what we're doing with the PBIS, with the curriculum, with just making sure that so many of us may be within schools and school districts and using PBIS, and but with the curriculum alignment is mainly what I was speaking to. But I can see how it with the would work also with the PBIS and all the behavior strategies.
Yeah, that's a great point. And so when you think about transition and you think about the instruction that's needed there, that's a major point of ensuring the quality that's provided is making sure that standards are met and so forth. So I totally agree. That's a good fit and a good transition with PBIS and behavior as well. Thanks for that comment. Any additional information? I want to make sure these are the right priorities that we're focusing on. And so please, please give us feedback now if you feel like these may not be the right areas or if you have additional. So just want to give you some time to add.
One thing that I know that I have in the past personally struggled with is teacher certifications. There have been several when we've had positions open who have, or they think that they have the right credentials, but when we get to digging, they have partial but not the right thing. And I have a teacher right now, for example, with COVID last year, she was trying to get in to the teacher ed program. However, she was unable to successfully pass the test that she had to take. She's a phenomenal teacher, but time after time after time again, she's struggling to pass the examination to get into the program. And I just hate the fact that I'm gonna lose her and not know if I can find someone else to replace her with.
Yeah, thanks for that comment. And I think also about recruitment and retention. And so I know that relates with ensuring that teachers are prepared, they're certified, and that we're getting quality folks in our preschool programs. So I'll put recruitment and retention. Thanks for that comment.
Yes, I had that on my list as well. Definitely the recruitment for IECE certified folks in the eastern part of the state for sure.
It feels like that well is drying up a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Any other topics? Any other priorities that we may have left off the list that you want to focus on? And then after we get these, then we'll try to align them to our 3 meetings coming up.
You go ahead.
I'm sorry, Whitney.
Okay. One of the things I wondered if we could maybe put some focus on is because of COVID and stuff, and because we've been so disjointed and not the best of communications with our kids and families, is there something that we could work on about parent support and those relationships between the school and the parents? I mean, I know that's a big part, but I wonder if this isn't a good time to kind of hone in and because it's almost a different situation at this point, I think.
Yeah, that's a good one. And it's actually one of our office priorities is to really strengthen family engagement. I know with our State Advisory Council for Exceptional Children, we have an open forum where we invite parents and others to bring issues before the council. And we're constantly thinking of ways to try to promote the community getting involved with that. And so it's a focus of our office to look at family engagement and more parental support. So I definitely think that's a good one to have on the list.
And Christy Lewis has her hand up. Thank you, Christy, for helping with us following our norms.
Just trying to do that. I'm not good at that at all, so I had to remind myself. Joe, one thing under quality programming, if we can include equity and diversity, just making sure that we're kind of keeping that on the forefront of, how we're discussing everything, because we know that we are definitely we've got diversity as far as males, but nothing else on our committee. And as we're moving forward, just making sure that we're looking at all those pieces as we're supporting our students and families.
Yeah, that's a great one. Thanks for adding that. And I know that's a priority for our agency at KDE to really look at equity and diversity. And you can even think about it within data quality where we have some disproportionalities, even with behavior, looking at some of that. So equity and diversity is definitely a common theme that we need to make sure we address. Thanks for that.
Absolutely. One of my soapboxes is behavior in preschool and unnecessarily suspending and expelling preschool students. So I like that idea. Whitney Fowler has her hand up. And Christy, could you lower your hand? Do you know how to do that? There you go. Thanks.
I was speaking with Andrea yesterday, and I've been asked by our superintendent to try to creatively think outside the box in terms of what can we do over the summertime to ensure preschool through 12th grade that we are addressing the gap issue that has been created by COVID. And like I said, we were the first district, and so we tried to come up with creative ways in which to put stuff on social media that had activities for preschool families to follow. And we opened that up for anybody that wanted to follow. So maybe if we as a group could start thinking about some creative ways to address what we could do over the summertime, that way if districts or people ask, we could have some ways already set up that they could use.
Yes, thank you for that. It definitely is a challenge to think about creative ways to help students and families transition back to a normal, so-called normal setting, and so out of our NTI and I know, at the preschool level, for example, there have been many families who may have chosen, not to proceed with preschool. So how do we really creatively engage the community and help them transition back to what a good normal school experience should and could be? And so, Whitney, make sure I type that correctly, but is that okay? Creative ways to address communication and transition?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for that. That's a huge one. And then when you think about all of the needs, the emotional, all types of needs that kids may have as they transition back, schools are going to have to help families and students deal with the COVID situation and the impact that it's had. So that's a big one. So Andrea, I think that's a pretty good comprehensive list of things. And so would you like to next align topics to the months that we meet? We could start in the spring with data quality and possibly something else along with that. And then what do you think, Andrea?
Yeah, sure. I think that data quality is great for the spring, and also maybe the one that Whitney was just talking about, the transition, because that's kind of when that will start happening and occurring. I know people are planning now, obviously, for those things, but that would be kind of kickoffs for those things. And I know the PBIS academies that are starting in February, it's going to be kind of rolling. Those are going to last a while, so we can maybe pick up on those maybe as we move forward in the middle there. Maybe in the summer, yeah.
In the summer, do the PBIS behavior.
Mm-hmm. Quality programming is going to be maybe every time. I don't know. That's the big one that has a lot of topics under it. What do you guys think?
I'm going to fill some of these in here and we can move them around.
I know that teacher prep and certification, that comes to the office or to the department. Typically in July, people are more in July than October, really, because people are getting certified or getting out of college and kind of thinking about hiring at that point. And it's becoming harder and harder to find appropriately certified folks to get into our classrooms. People are getting creative with some of their solutions for sure.
So Andrea, it's okay to focus the PBIS and behavior and then also recruitment and retention and the teacher prep stuff
I think
in
so,
July,
yeah.
you think?
Yeah. I think so. Mm-hmm.
And then family engagement and parental support, a focus in October.
Okay.
Let's see. Quality programming and the alignment and equity. That's really huge. And of course,
Yeah.
the quality program will run through all of these, but is there a specific place where we want to devote that?
I mean, I think that we have to look at everything that we're doing here through an equity and diversity lens. Thinking about those, we've been tasked one by the KBE, but also because it's we're good human beings, so we want to do that and make sure that we are encouraging everyone. So I don't know how we would kind of embed that through all of this, or if you want to.
And when I'm thinking about it, I totally agree. When you think about data quality, you're really, I mean, you're having that sort of conversation with alignment, with equity and diversity, quality programming, because what you're reporting on is what you're actually doing. And so, yeah, I feel like that is really kind of a main broad topic that kind of fits with data quality and then gives us some momentum for the rest of the topics throughout the year. And so Andrea and I, we can kind of massage this a little bit and make sure it reads correctly. But this just kind of gives us a broad focus. And Andrea, make sure I didn't miss anything. Did I get them all on there?
I think so. There's a comment here from Anna. Would we want to discuss family engagement and parent supports in the spring because we're planning for catching up on missed skills as well during summer month? That's a good point. And I think that's kind of tough for us to delineate some of these things in times because all of this is so intertwined and it all feels so urgent. And I think we need to, figure that out. But I would agree that we would need to speak maybe when we're talking about the creative ways to address communication and transition, that part is family engagement. So we're working on both of those things at the same time. And then in the fall, give a real specific, this is what we're going to talk about moment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anna, did that make sense for your comment?
Yeah, because I was just thinking as districts, whoever mentioned earlier about that, we are currently in the middle of having meetings to try and plan for every kid, preschool through 12th grade and what we're going to offer and how we're going to do all of this. So, us being able to share as a group that could then be shared out, more broadly, all the ideas that come together on how we're going to help with that, I think would be beneficial in the spring so that we could add that to our plans, in all of our counties and districts, because in the summers when we're going to be bringing in the next few months, I guess, up until the fall, when we're going to be bringing kids in and families and assisting them with all their concerns and resources. So, yeah, I think it does. Thank you. And thank you for the hand reminder, whoever did that. I'm sorry, I forgot the name right off the bat.
It was not me. We'll get there together. We will. We'll all learn how to use it together.
Yeah, so thank you for that comment. It sounds like really your need is in the spring to begin to prepare for summer, creative ways to address communication and transition, really thinking about your quality programming and your alignment with an emphasis on equity and diversity. And then after that, it would lead into data quality and really thinking about how you're reporting information, which also relates to the PBIS and behavior information that's being tracked. And then, of course, a focus on teacher prep and certification with recruitment and retention in the summer, then leading to how can we take all of that information and really prepare good communication for family engagement and parental support. And of course, we can tweak specific topics and speakers along the way, but I think this kind of gives us a framework, a place to start. And Andrea and I can work with our chair and co-chair to get some speakers to address these areas so we can have some focused conversations. So does that look okay to you, Andrea?
Looks good to me.
Anybody else have any other comments or things you would like to add?
I
All
told
right,
you all we were going to be busy.
yeah, that's a lot of work, but it's all areas that are pertinent to preschool and our kiddos. So really appreciate you taking some time to think about priorities. All right, do you want me to talk about the exit slip next, Andrea?
Sure.
All right, so we have for each advisory group, we create an exit slip, and I'm gonna copy this link for you. This is the link. It's a Google form. I'm gonna put this in the chat. So I'll stop sharing, and then in the chat box, I'll put the link. I put the link in the chat box. I will also be sending you an email with this link as well. But it just it collects your email address, and then it asks you to rate the meeting on a scale, and then it also gives a few questions about some things, and it may be an opportunity for you to put ideas that you weren't able to share in this specific meeting, but it really helps us prepare for the next meeting. It gives us some information to look at and review, and also our leadership team can look at that and really think about how it intertwines with the work that the agency does. So we really appreciate you taking some time to fill out the exit slip. And again, I'll send you an email. So turn it back. Does anybody have any questions or anything before we turn it back over to Andrea? All right. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Andrea.
Thanks, Joe. Joe does a great job with these meeting things. I'm learning a lot from him. He's our Zen master guru, keeps everybody calm and reflective. We enjoy it a lot. He's great to work with for sure. One thing that when everyone was talking from OSIL, it brought to my mind how much we are a family in our office, and we want to encourage you all to be part of our family with that. When they say if you need help, reach out, they mean that. They mean reach out if you need help. Not don't wait till you're drowning. Don't wait till you can barely see the surface. Reach out for them to help, to ask, and myself as well. That's what our jobs are. That's why we have jobs. We're here to support you. That's one thing that I wanted to make sure when I took over the branch manager position was making sure that districts know that I am a phone call away. I'm an email away. You might have to send me two because my email gets overloaded sometimes. I may not see the first one, but I am here to support. And that's what this group is about too. This is going to be an internal support for each other and moving forward our priorities with early childhood education, with preschool in Kentucky. And I'm super excited about it. I told you I was going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be a lot of fun too. I think we all love talking about early childhood, and we all love making movements forward with that experience. So unless there's anything else, I think we're ready for adjournment. And we'll see you. Joe, will you be sending out the Google Drive link to everyone?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. We have created a Google Drive, and that's where we're going to put a folder for each meeting, and we'll put all of our presentations and notes and information, and that way it'll be a common place for you to go back and check. I waited to add you to that folder because I wanted you to know that you would be, getting an invite for that. So we will add all of the members.
I wasn't sure how that would go about to get that.
Yep.
Cool. And Monica, I will send you the norms through email, then you can dump them in that folder whenever you're ready to do that with.
And then Andrea, the only last thing we would do is just ask Greta if you have anything that you would like to add or close us out for closing comments before we adjourn.
Sure. Greta or Veronica, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I'll just again say thank you and turn it over to Veronica.
Again, you do have a lot of work, like Andrea said, and we are so thankful that you're willing to serve. And I will also echo what Andrea said. We're also here to serve. So if you ever need anything, just reach out and we'll be happy to support you. Thank you all so much.
All right, then I guess, Joe, are we good? Do I just say goodbye? How does this work? I'm learning on the